And here we are again. Hell the chat, the mighty chat. Hell all and welcome to the 4 o'clock shadow. Spot on, my friend. Spot on. Shadowhawk. Our special guest today, Cody Conyers. Let's see what he's up to. Not in here yet, but we'll give him a minute or two. Let's see. Where are you, Cody? Tomorrow we will have on John Dexter. John Dexter with which is the creator of Alpha Dogs. He's on Alpha Dogs number 5. That is a Kickstarter, I believe. He also does Dime Store Detective and Space Cruising, so that'll be interesting. Today's person of interest is read my own Cody Connors. He is a digital artist, and we shall endeavor to get him on here, hopefully. Let me. Where you at, Cody? There you are. Okay, ready. All right. Send him a little message. See if he's ready. Some people, I tried to send. I send the link, a day ahead of time, and that way, restream. Oh, okay. I need to put up an icon, or do what I need to do. So trying to be proactive, especially when I have guests on. Was on late last night with Peter, aka Pad, and Omer and Tank Ferret. Early in the morning. Went to very early in the morning. Well, I mean, late at night, early in the morning. How about that stream? I was like, wow. And that was the first one that Peter had done. I was like, yeah, this is not his usual time. And it was the very first one. So glad to be able to catch that and go on there. I didn't do any drawing, just conversating, throwing out those quips, those, one-liners. And they're toward the very end of it, had a few spoilers of things coming up. Go check out Peter's video for that. In the chat, as you can see, I pinned today and tomorrow, trying to get some more subscribers to my what is it? What is it? I'm trying to get subscribers to. What platform? Have to look over here because I can't see it on. If you haven't hit that like button or subscribe button, please do. Oh yes, the Rumble account. I believe I have 8 subscribers over there. Not any content yet, but I promise I'll put something through there and up on there. Alpha Dogs looks good. He needs to get over to Fund My Comic. Absolutely. And we'll be talking with him tomorrow. Hope Cody didn't forget today, but if he does, the show must go on. I believe I was on time. I don't think I was late with today's show. Just saying. Don't think I was late. I'm here in my underwear and my old shirt with my cap on, but I was on time. What? I'm here. I looked at the clock, 4 o'clock. Oh crap. I got to get my underwear on. I got to, yeah, I mean, difficulties. Got to eat more roughage, in the bathroom. Way too long. But I'm here on time every day, 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock shadow, unless we need to change the name. Some days I'm sure Gable would think that I need to call it the 5 o'clock shadow, but that was already taken long ago by Rick Piper, 2015, I think. So 10 years ago. Of course, he kind of discontinued it, brought it back for a little bit, and then I don't know, he discontinued it again. So pull it out, mothball. Today I've been working on what have I been working on? I've been working on the supplement. Had a few things come to mind, sort of like a chapter, or it'd be a good cover for midnight. and I believe our guest is here. Stellar Avenger
Hi,
in the.
can you hear me?
I can. How are
All
you?
right, awesome.
You might up it just a little bit, but that may just be on my end. And let me see if I could probably up you from here, and maybe myself while I'm at it. It's
All
good
right.
to have you on.
Yeah, good to be on.
Uh, you're a digital artist and collector of comics, I take it.
I am, yes.
Yeah. Are you primarily a Marvel, DC, independent, a little bit of it all? What? What got you collecting and reading?
I actually started when I was in middle school.
Hmm.
So before that I was watching like the X-Men animated series on Fox and Spider-Man, but
Yeah.
it really wasn't until I got my hands on the Marvel Ultimate Alliance game that was on the PlayStation 2.
Hmm.
And that is kind of what kickstarted my love for all things Marvel, DC, Image, Dark Horse, stuff like that in art.
My co-host, which won't be on with us today, says, "Hell, Stellar Avenger."
Thanks.
I love the name because Avengers. George Perez's first run on Avengers got me into comics, really, from month to month to month. You know,
Right.
uh,
Yeah.
and it was just happenstance, or was it? Maybe it was just good art because I saw my first issue of Avengers, and then went back, happened to go back 2 more weeks and got the next issue, and didn't even know it till I got out to the vehicle and said, "This is the continuation of that story I bought two
Mhm.
weeks ago that I really loved." So I said, "I'm going to collect it from now on." That made me a collector. How did you
Right.
start collecting? Just
Uh, I was just going to Barnes and Noble on
uh-huh.
weekends when I wasn't going to school because I wouldn't like get in trouble for just doodling in class.
Getting
Um,
some
and not
trade
paying attention.
paperbacks, some collections of things.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I would like my first book that I had bought on my own was actually a issue of Ultimate X-Men, but I can't remember which issue it was. And at first I was so ignorant to comic books at the time. I had no idea that Ultimate X-Men was not the mainline Marvel universe. It wasn't 616.
Yeah,
So I was
actually, I've
reading it.
been doing the Ultimate X-Men, but they came out years ago with a lot of those Ultimate X-Men on disc where
Hmm.
where it's like a, you know, with voice actors, and they do the parts and put up the word balloons and stuff, and
Oh, like a
it,
motion comic.
a motion comic. That's what they are. Yeah,
Yeah.
they did motion comics with those, and I've actually been going through. I took a break last night. Otherwise, I would have finished. I think I've got like 5 different sets of Ultimate X-Men on Magic on motion comics,
Oh,
and
really?
a bunch of other stuff. CrossGen came out with a bunch of those. Uh,
Hmm.
this has been a decade ago or more, but they're a lot of fun,
Right.
to actually, especially the Ultimate books, which I bought a few and maybe got some on back issue, but never really got into reading them. And now that I kind of go through the Magic Motion stuff or the motion comics again, it's even though it's like top notch writers, I guess. I'm trying to think of the names of some of the writers that wrote some of those stories. Uh, big names. I was not impressed really
Hmm.
myself. You know,
Right.
uh, by the writing. I thought it was kind of dense. It is supposed to be. I don't know. How do you look at the Ultimate Universe? Kind of.
The original Ultimate Universe.
Do you kind of look
Um,
at it as a darker, almost like Justice League in the movies?
the original Ultimate Universe. It was fine. Like it was a good jumping off point for people who weren't familiar with who wasn't
Yeah, I
reading
think it was
comic
a
books.
reset, kind of like
Yeah.
52 over at DC, or yeah, I thought it
Yeah.
was.
And
It's
if it,
one of
if
the
it wasn't
many resets they've done through the decades. It seems like they can't go through one decade period of time without resetting something.
right,
You
and if
know.
it wasn't for the Ultimate Universe, we don't have the MCU because like the MCU took a lot of inspiration from those lines of comics.
Hmm. Well, look
And
at Nick Fury. They had that. They had cast Nick Fury, as Samuel Jackson
Yeah,
in the books 2 years before he ever did it in the movies, I
they
think.
did because actually that first issue of Ultimate X Men I had got, it was the issue where Ultimate Cable was revealed to be future Wolverine. And in that issue, it was just Samuel Jackson's face, like as Nick Fury. Like I was like, this looks just like Samuel Jackson. At
Yeah.
the time, I had
Ultimate
no idea.
Ultimate Fantastic Four came out with Marvel Zombies, and I think they're probably going to have to do that in the future.
I mean, yeah,
On
they have that Marvel Zombies television show coming out this year,
mhm,
and I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, that did actually spin off
the
Ultimate.
Ultimate. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and I think one of the writers recently wrote into maybe Fantastic Four where the possibility that the zombies might hit the main Marvel universe in the
mm,
comics, or at least the potential for them crossing over from the Ultimate universe and ravaging the main universe or becoming a
right.
threat anyway. Because
Yeah.
we are dealing with the multiverse, with I think probably both Marvel and DC. What do you think about multiverse?
Uh, when it's handled well, it can lead to some really great stories. I think some of my favorite multiverse stories have probably been like Secret Wars from 2015, like with the incursions and all of that and Illuminati.
Hmm.
Um, and when it comes to like stories set in alternate realities, I like Kingdom Come by Alex Ross,
I
and I
always
think
like the what ifs as well,
yeah,
the what if
yeah.
stories.
I never read any of the really old what if stories.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with like some of the stories that they use like when they adapt it into like modern stuff. But but yeah, like Kingdom Come. What else? I haven't really read much of the new Ultimate Universe. With the new like Ultimate Black Panther, Ultimate Spider Man. Um,
I
and
didn't even know they were doing that they had revived it.
yeah, they are. Yeah, they have.
Okay. I haven't even seen that at my local comic book store. I wonder why. But uh yeah, I didn't even know they were doing they had revived it again. I think like Ultimate Spider-Man was pretty successful. I think a lot of the Ultimate books, I think that was a successful thing for Marvel.
Right.
One of the more successful things. Maybe the Brian Hitch artwork on Ultimate Avengers. I don't know what it was, because he wasn't as well known then, and they kind of made his name. And if you put a fresh art team that's up and coming on something like that, and people like it, you know, John Cassaday was an awesome artist, and it's unfortunate he passed away because I would have liked to have seen more stuff out of him. He really did a great run on and some great covers for Captain America.
Yeah, and he also did Astonishing X Men. Do you know Joss Whedon's Astonishing X Men?
Uh huh. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I just finished some of those on on Motion Comics too. I
yeah,
keep
that was a
wanting to
good
call
run.
it Magic Motion, but
That was a good run. That's actually a lot of people's quintessential X Men team.
I,
With
I'll tell
Wolverine.
I'll tell you how you got on my radar. Do you like the Avengers? I got to ask you that because you are Stellar Avenger.
I do,
Do
yeah,
you like the Avengers? That's what got me collecting was the Avengers. They were my favorite team.
yeah, I do.
Uh, uh, what got you on my radar was you made that dragonfly comment about her being in public domain and in the
Oh,
early
Butterfly.
Marvel magazines. Yeah, or butterfly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Butterfly. Was it
yeah,
butterfly? Okay,
it's
I
Butterfly.
had it in my mind dragonfly because I think dragonfly you can use that name too. But yeah,
Yeah,
butterfly was in Hell Rider #1, I think.
she was. Yes,
Uh, and you had shown your rendition of her, I think, and then there was a digital rendition of another character up on your X account, and if you want to know more about Stellar Avenger, he's all the links are down that I could find for him or are down in the description. Uh, Go check out his content over on X and sub. And do you have a YouTube channel?
I do, but I don't post anything there.
Okay.
Yeah, but a friend of mine actually just got big on YouTube, and his channel's growing fast. So he's kind of inspiring me to do the same. Maybe post some art of my or like my process of me drawing, and then seeing who will give me a view and a like and comment, subscribe, and all that stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, it can't hurt to grow the platform. If you have that link and can put it in the private chat, I'd appreciate it, because I would like to sub to you in case you do start putting up content. Uh, I guess you've always kind of worked digitally, or do you work traditionally a little bit as well?
Um, every now and then, I don't
Every
really
now
have
and
like
then.
a lot of so drawing traditionally is can be expensive. The only reason I
Hmm.
draw digitally is because I need to save money. But like you have to buy pencils and you have to buy erasers and pens
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
and
And you have
canvases.
to have a space to keep it all. And I get it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, and right now my current setup wouldn't really allow for me to have like to be doing that. So
Do,
it's right now as it stands, I'm just a strictly digital artist.
okay. And your commissions are open for people, that might be interested. If you do have some examples of your work, or I can bring up X and show them an example or two that you've posted. We'd like to see some of your work. Do you have Dollar Trees where you're at?
I do. Yeah, guys, I got a few.
Yeah, DC, and this is the stand with some of the books in them.
Hmm.
Uh, this is the stand that I was fortunate enough to get, at my local Dollar Tree. DC's releasing the sort of the old 52 from 2011 and the rebirth from like 2016, 2017.
Hmm.
So it's pretty neat to find these comics out in the wild. I think that's what needs to happen so kids can go, wow, and be transported to another world like I was. Of course, back in the day, we had spinner racks and grocery stores and things that carried comics. Now you can't. You got to go to a comic store.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty sad.
Like comic books have become a lot more niche now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would I
And
would
they were
say
neat. They've always been niche, people tell
that.
me. And they
Yeah,
probably are right.
yeah. I mean, but one of the fortunate things about us living in this era where like nerd stuff is kind of popular now is that more people are paying attention to it than they were like in the early 2000 2010s, like the 2000s. Because it kind of felt like for a while comic books were becoming kind of lame, and it was just like, oh, it's this thing that nerds will watch. It's like they're not cool. That they like read books about people flying or swinging on webs or whatever.
Well,
But
I
like I
think
do credit.
we,
I
we were, go ahead. Go ahead.
was gonna say like I kind of credit the MCU for revitalizing people's interest in these characters.
Yeah,
You know.
but I think which I'm glad you said that because that was what I was trying to break in with is that we were talking about that yesterday that uh, the MCU movies did not the local books that they were coming out with at your local comic book store did not reflect the movies, what was going on in the movies, or even close to it. And
Yeah.
I think they were looking for the Tony Stark Iron Man. They got Ironheart or something, which she might be a great character in her own right, but I think Marvel missed an opportunity there, a big opportunity to really hook some people into the comics or give away a promo comic at the comic book store with links,
Yeah.
advertisements or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. I
There's
know.
a way to promote comics.
Yeah, it is because it's like whenever these movies come out in theaters, they actually should be having like comic books, like a free comic book maybe that comes with your popcorn before you walk into the theater, and then
I know with Venom they had free little promo posters that
yeah.
were available.
Only thing I know they had for Captain America: Brave New World was they had a promo code for a skin in Marvel Rivals,
Have you
and
watched that yet? And did you like it?
I saw it the other day and I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine. I
Oh,
mean, like,
now see, that's not a very good review. I did see pictures of the guy that played the leader, and
uh-huh,
that kind of made sense to me. His
uh-huh.
look, because I've never liked the leader. I've never liked the big head. I've never liked the big grapeseed looking head that Todd McFarlane got. I just never have liked the leader. He's green. He's diminutive.
At
He's
first,
got a big head. So what? He's a
yeah,
racer head. Why?
yeah,
You
like
know?
I've seen some art of him with
Yep.
like the more bubbly looking, bumpy head, and I
Mm-hmm.
and I and I guess that's what they were going for because when I saw Leader, I used to watch a show called Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I'm not sure if you remember that. It was a
He just,
cartoon.
yeah, oh yeah. I just got done watching that.
Yeah,
Watching all 6, 7 seasons on. I've been doing a lot of watching recently of the Marvel stuff that I have. Yeah, I've
right.
watched
So he,
all those, and you can. I think you can watch those on YouTube as well.
yeah, probably. But he had this like
Mhm.
long, tall Frankenstein's monster type head, and like that would have been cool to see. I mean, if I'm being honest, I kind of would have preferred that, but I didn't mind. He just looked really creepy and weird, and I guess they succeeded in what they were going for. I mean, it's not gonna be
I
everyone.
don't think he had green skin in it, did he?
He looked sick.
He
He
looked
looked
messed up.
yeah. He looked like kind of it was like pale. It was like a pale, sickly green.
Yeah, like an accident victim or something, like a mutation. You know, his eye
Yeah,
messed up and the bumps on his head. But I mean, it wasn't like this big head. It, you know, that's one of those characters. If you got a big head, yeah, it's
yeah,
kind of ridiculous looking. Any big head character, you know,
yeah,
egghead or I just never liked the big head characters. You know, Doctor Harmon, I think in the Green Lantern series had a
oh
big
yeah.
head.
Or Modoc.
Modoc, he's nothing but a big head with
He's
shriveled
just
up
head.
legs and hands. He's never going to get a date, even though there
Yeah,
was a female Modoc, which was stupid, and she had razor sharp teeth. So who wants to kiss that? Uh,
yeah,
Although it might be fun to try. Uh, she could get away from in her hover chair, I guess. But were you primarily a Marvel or DC guy?
um, a little bit of both.
Little bit of both, yeah. I think that's
Yeah,
a good mix. You know, I actually followed creators that were over at Marvel and they went to DC, or maybe over at DC and they went to Marvel. You know, I kind of followed what George Perez was one of them. You know, he went over and did New Teen Titans. Of course, I've been collecting a little bit longer than you. I take it. You know,
yeah,
uh,
yeah. I'm pretty sure you have.
yeah,
Like
and
I don't
yeah,
know. I just can't like stay tied down to one particular company.
yeah.
Like I don't know. Like I'm not one of those
You
people
just
who
want good stories, good art, right?
yes, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
more attracted to the art than anything, even though the stories are good, you know. Like or like a good if a story's good enough then the art won't even matter, but you know, it's always a plus if the book is a good thing to look at, you know what I mean?
Hmm. It, if you had to say one book that influenced your art, what would it be?
Darwin Cook's New Frontier.
Ah, okay, yeah.
That's one of my favorite stories.
I love that they animated it.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah, I love
I
that.
mean, it may be cut down or whatever, but I mean, at least you get that, and it's yeah, it's a loss, you know, that we didn't get more work out of him because he's really started late,
Hmm.
you know, at an older age before he really hit with the fans or came into
Yeah,
comics.
yeah,
Uh,
and there are a few artists who I'm not gonna say like copy his style, but their style is
yeah,
very similar to his. There's this one artist I can't remember his name right now. Whose art is like almost a 1-to-1 to his. But I can't remember his name.
I like your first lady character. I'm gonna show you. She's a Native American character, right?
Yeah, but she's not my character.
Oh, she's not your character.
She's not, no.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I will.
Well, she's a good character. I like that.
Yeah, the artist said that he liked my version of her.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, I like her
It's a
creative.
solid design, you know.
Yeah, it
It does
is. I
have
like.
that. it does have that Falcon Captain America look, you know. I mean, with the red, white, and blue, a little bit, you know.
It does, yeah.
But I like it. It's a good,
Like,
solid character.
yeah.
How
Yeah, I'll
long have
definitely
you
let him
been
know that you said
working digitally,
that. For about
creating
10 years. About 10 years,
characters?
but
Yep.
I've only actually been doing commissions and taking it and like taking it seriously for about six, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I've been at it for
Jenna
a while.
Ortega, you made a mention that she would make a good Janet Van Dyne Wasp. I believe so too.
She would,
Uh,
yeah. Like I don't know. It's she. I think a lot of people like kind of cast her as like the emo Raven type of character.
hmm. Yeah,
But I feel like
like,
she wanted to break out of that typecast, I think someone like Wasp will be a really good fit for her if they decide to recast.
why do you think that DC Comics went so dark with their universe in movies?
Zack Snyder.
Do you? Okay, that is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. I did like the Watchmen film. It was that's kind of my guilty pleasure. I know a lot of people don't like it, but because it kind of felt
Hmm.
like he didn't understand what Alan Moore was trying to do with that book. But
There's the
I don't
better
know.
public domain.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You just think it's on Zack Snyder, huh?
Maybe because he has like a really distinct visual
Yeah.
style. It's kind of dark. It's kind of edgy, but like he puts all that like music on top of it. Oh
There
yeah,
we
there
go.
she is.
Now that's your version, right,
Yes.
of the character?
I didn't really do much with
I
her
really
design.
like.
I didn't stray too far away from her original design.
No, no.
But
I mean, you even gave her the little suction cup fingers
yeah,
or whatever they
someone made a
were.
point of mentioning it. Someone made a point of mentioning that her the dots inside of her wings are can emit like a bright light.
Okay,
And I don't know, for some reason I thought they were holes, but it wouldn't have made much sense if she could fly and glide on them if those were holes.
I like the
So
hose actually because it's. I mean, it's distinctive. You know, how many
yeah,
other characters have you seen like that? None.
right, yeah,
You know, uh, with those high boots, I thought if I'm going to do that, and since your holes in the wing are there, I would add like those three little hose that Dave Cockrum did to the top of the boots, like for
like
Storm.
Storm,
Uh huh.
yeah,
Yeah, it made sense to me. So if I do a butterfly version, I'll probably add the holes. You know, Dave Cochran's one of those creators like Jack Kirby. Oh, I don't know. There's few creators that create a lot of characters. Steve Ditko, you could probably 10 major characters on your hands. You
yeah,
could probably
Spider
count them
Man,
all: Creeper and Doctor Strange and
Strange,
Spider Man and
yeah.
a few others, Mr. A. But Jack Kirby, you need several hands. There's very few that create a bunch of characters, and Dave Crockham was one of them, but he kind of flies under the radar. You know,
And he created some. Did he create Carol Danvers or did he just create her Warbird costume?
that I don't know. Probably, I would say, just the costume. She was
Yeah,
already around. Yeah.
yeah. And I
Uh,
think he, and I think he created the Phoenix costume too, if I'm not mistaken.
he created Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler was originally going to be in the Legion of Superheroes at DC
I've heard that.
Comics.
Yeah, I've heard
Yeah,
that.
I
Yeah,
thought
and
that was
Storm.
wild.
And Storm was actually supposed to be a few different characters. She was supposed to be a character called Black Cat. I think she was going to be the original Black Cat, and they changed it. I think she was going to have like cat powers.
Yeah, she went through a change. I think she's one of my favorite Marvel women characters.
Yeah,
Simply because of the Byrne and Austin run and her. I like her traditional costume. Uh, After the Byrne and Austin run, they gave her a mohawk in the 80s,
Yeah.
which was different, but it didn't really, I think women heroes need to be sexy somewhat. Sexy comes in all body types, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but
Yeah.
I think it's comics are primarily a male audience, although I think that's changed over the last, say, 30 years. There's
Hmm.
been more women readership, but still the driving force, I think, for comics are men. And if you don't play to that, you're not wanting to make you don't care about sales.
Right.
Could be wrong. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that? Hey, Elmer.
Um, I think there are a lot of people who are coming to comic books now who weren't really
Hmm.
checking for them like a few years ago. I think like all things, like you have like your favorite musician. I think a lot of people are becoming, we call them stands. You know, like how some people like how some musicians have like a huge fan base. I think comic books are becoming the same way, but like you have a character like Scarlet Witch, who might not have been as popular 5 to 10 years ago, but now that she just has all these like legions of fans,
Hmm.
or like Dazzler, Storm, Rogue, Gambit, Deadpool, and it's like bringing in a lot of different readers, and when those people coming in to see read these books, I think the companies are taking notice at like, who is popular right now, who's going to sell books and whatnot. So I mean, yeah, like I think comic books started off as like a primarily male medium, but I think it's changing.
Yeah. But now
But
I don't think it's changing as much as they might like it with the new MCU. I think when the new well, relatively new Miss Marvel movie, and the what was the other female movie? The Black Widow, which
Black
Black
Widow,
Widow should have been done at the beginning. She should have got
I
a movie
agree
at
with
the
that.
beginning.
Yeah, yeah, she should have had her movie back in like phase 2.
Yeah, it would have
Yeah,
been much more popular,
yeah,
and
because she was the first. Yeah, she was the first female MCU character, and I don't know. I kind of feel like they should have struck when the iron was hot.
he doesn't put up content, Omer, but if he'll serve it up in the private chat, I'll put it in the chat for everybody, and
Yeah, yeah. I
we'll
don't
get him
post much.
some
So
subs. He
I
might not
have
care about it.
a bunch of like Mugen videos. It's like a fighting game thing I did a long time ago with like
All right,
superheroes,
all right.
and I only have one short on my YouTube channel of me drawing a character called Mothman.
Well, now I am subbed. I am sub number 32.
Okay,
Uh,
thank you.
yeah, I see you've got Miss Marvel up there with Marvel versus Capcom 3.
Yeah,
Yeah, video.
yeah.
So I will
It's a
put
really old
that
video.
in
It's
the
like
chat
15
for
years ago.
everybody,
Yeah,
and we'll get you some subs.
I appreciate it. Maybe I will start posting from now from here on out then on there.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, like you said, if you could do some digital drawing, on there, I think it would be wildly popular. I think people like the how to. I know that's what got me on YouTube watching regularly, was watching Ethan Van Sciver draw DC characters, or I mean, back in the early days, right after he had left DC, he was still doing a lot of that, and wasn't all cyber frog, you know. Uh, 20% of the market, Shadowhawk says, is female. Uh, been that way a long time. I don't see that suddenly increasing without a major breakout female character to grab a young female audience. Well, maybe Midnight will be it. My
Yeah.
character, Midnight.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, I want to show another thing that you posted that you did digitally, and that's a Lion Man from 1947, public domain, in all Negro Comics #1. I printed that I bought on eBay, and I actually got to see an original in 1985, on display of all Negro comics. They also had baseball comics that uh, had Jackie Robertson on the cover. A whole
Yeah,
display. I mean, they had a whole slanted display with all these old golden age books, and it was like, whoa,
I
I'd
wish I
never
could
heard
see
of
some
all
of that.
Negro comics or baseball comics or all these other comics that they had.
Yeah,
Wow,
on Negro Comics came out, and I think they only had like one issue.
one issue, yeah.
It was just one issue, and that's a shame because it's like I don't know, like what, like this character could have been the next, like because he came out like years before, like Black Panther. I think it was the first black mainstream superhero, and I think it was either Falcon. Yeah, it was Falcon was the first African American superhero, but I don't know. It could have been like he could have been huge, and they never really gave him a chance. So
Lion Man.
Lion Man, yes,
You think it would have been?
I think he
He
could have
does
been.
have that. He does have that Wakandan Black Panther vibe. Decades before, a couple decades before he was created. In
Yeah,
Marvel.
and there was another character in that book named Ace Harlem who was kind of like a Dick Tracy type
Mhm.
detective.
I actually had the book up here. The not the original, but the uh, you know uh, copy version or whatever of that book. Somebody put together an official reprint of that or whatever, and I thought, yeah, I want that. I want to see what was in it. Because it was a
Yeah,
one shot and a big part of comic book history. I think that a
yeah.
lot of people don't know about. And I had it up back here, and they were like, and I had one in like anti-Hitler comics
Hmm.
and other stuff like that, and they go, "No, you better take that down because if people see that, they might, complain to YouTube, and you might get a strike, for the video." And I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe." You know, I kind of like to display back here what I want to display, but
right.
some things are controversial,
Yeah, yeah.
to some
Um,
people.
and by the
I,
way,
I if you notice my typing, Stellar,
mhm,
I tap in all caps, and that's not because I'm yelling. It's
right.
because I'm lazy and I only want to tap. I don't want to go from back and forth. I just want to do my
Whenever,
thing
whenever,
without
whenever I see
being
someone type in
singled
all
out
caps,
as an angry man.
whenever I see someone type in all caps, I just assume they're excited. That's all. I don't, I,
Excited.
I don't,
Okay.
I don't, assume, I don't
I
assume
didn't even know that was a thing till I got on YouTube and they're like, "Why are you yelling?"
yeah, just
I'm
excited.
not. Leave me alone.
Right.
So if you go over to Stellar Avengers, he has his rights. We could go over your rights for commission artwork if you need any digital work done. Now, most people don't publicly put their rights, but now you have.
Hmm.
Uh, if you want me to kind of cover that, we can.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, and by the way, can I actually send you something in your private chat and you can post it on the screen because I want to show you what I'm
oh,
working on right now.
absolutely. Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
now, because before I did a picture, a redraw of the first issue of Avengers in 1963 when they and when it was like the final panel when they all said
Oh,
what
yeah.
should we call ourselves? What about the Avengers and shit? No, that's it. We're gonna call ourselves the Avengers. And and right now I'm redrawing the first issue of Black Panther's appearance in the Fantastic Four book. So I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
go ahead and show
That's
you
cool.
that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, recreations are, uh so for full body, fully rendered, OCs included $80. What's OCs? I'm a
Original
booger.
characters.
Original characters included. Okay.
Yeah.
$80. So and flats, for flatting, $70, inks, $60. Bust fully rendered, $70, and original designs 100. So not
Right.
too bad on the pricing, I don't think.
Yeah. Some people said I'm actually lowballing. I'm like, I sometimes think I'm overcharging, but I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, for flats, I think for flats that may be high, but uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the going rate is. I think flats are maybe you're right on. You're pretty right on for it with the other stuff.
Yeah,
Of course, again, it kind of uh, depends on how well known you are. I think and what you can kind of charge. I mean,
right.
if you've worked for big corporate businesses and everything like that, it's like, yeah, you're gonna have some high rates, but
Yeah.
you're quote professional, at that point, big professional.
Sometimes I
But
do wish I was a professional. But then again, like I've heard horror stories of like having to meet deadlines and you
oh
know.
yeah, oh yeah.
So I sent you something in your Instagram X.
Oh, on my X, okay. I was expecting it in the do you do logo work? Shadowhawk wants to know.
I don't. I'm sorry. I wish I did, but like I don't know. That's something I actually been trying to get into actually, but I don't know if I'd be confident in doing it as a commission.
That's dope. Let me share this. I'm a Fantastic Four fan. Shadowhawk, not too much. I mean, he's not as big as I am, but I'm not over the top because the Avengers are my favorite.
Right.
But recreation, I don't have this book. I wish I did, but I was smart enough when they first announced that they were doing a Black Panther movie that it was coming out a year later. I bought the
Mm-hmm.
second appearance, and the reason was I had a piece of production art to the cover that I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to sell, and actually I sold that within the first month of listing it, and I got the book later. I always like to couple the book with the original uh, art or whatever, production artwork. Apex Comics in the house. Good to see you. Um, yeah, we just had Zevius within the community pass away. And I mean, he did logos, and
Mm-hmm.
he was a great artist, not just with letters, but I mean, yeah, that is an art form all in itself with
Oh yeah.
weights and, you know,
Yeah. Her lettering was really hard to do. Um.
yeah, it's you either like to do it or you don't. I don't think there's any in between. You know,
Right.
some people prefer that, and that becomes their art form, and then some is more like, you know, like I do with creating characters, and things like that.
Right.
Uh, I work traditionally, but I'm opposite of you. I want to get into the digital. I would like to try my hand at that. So I'm looking either this year or next year, starting to do some stuff digitally.
All
So
right.
we'll
You
see.
will get your hands on like a Helion tablet. I'm not sure what brand, what model mine is, but I think I had got this for like what was it, 500?
Did you ever watch? I can't the makeover. Where they made up creatures and things
You
on
mean like
TV. They
VFX or well, like practical effects and stuff like that?
Yeah, it was like they made like latex mask or
Hmm.
characters they were given a problem and they would all go away and digitally they gave them a pad to work with and
Hmm.
they would, kind of do out their ideal and then, they had a time limit and then they would show off the costumes and the characters or whatever and set judge and see if it made the criteria or I forget what that show was called, but I enjoyed watching that show. Uh, Muttman does good logo work. Yeah, he's an awesome artist, Trusty. Um, Finbat Live only on Phone My Comic. Have you considered doing a crowdfunder or making a comic book yourself?
Um, yeah, I've considered it. The only reason I haven't really done that is because I've actually been focusing on a lot of things in real life, and so I've
Hmm.
just been doing commissions and stuff like that to but yeah, it's just commitment. Because but I would really like to work on something if I can find the time to do so.
Tank says, I'm back. Rewind the show. Okay, we'll start all over. Hi, my name is Rex Christian. This is a 4 o'clock shadow. This is episode, what episode is it? 1026. And we're talking to your co founder, Waypoint Comics. Let's talk Waypoint Comics.
Yeah. So about that. Waypoint Comics was the thing I started with my friends. And we actually did have a book out, but this was pre-pandemic, by the way,
Okay.
and we actually had things planned, but the like 2020 happened, and everything just got thrown into disarray,
Yeah.
and we pretty much just started doing our own thing. So Waypoint Comics is kind of it's like a more of a holdover from like a I don't know, like what could have been. You know what I mean?
We tend to forget that the pandemic did have a major impact on collecting.
Hmm.
I saw things where people started collecting vinyl, comics
Yeah.
again, trading cards. It kind
Hmm.
of like, people had time on their hands being quarantined or whatever, uh, and
Yeah.
it really got some people busy getting back into comics. I've interviewed a lot of people that's gotten back into comics because of it.
Right. Yeah. And actually that's when I started collecting more. I was collecting comics, and I was also collecting Digimon cards and trading cards and stuff like that. So yeah, it has some lows, but it also has some highs that time. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and no doubt it had a major impact on this country,
yes.
financially, if not, personally for a lot of people,
Yeah.
I had an uncle and aunt pass away. Well, I had two uncles. I think my uncle and at least one uncle and aunt, they got COVID the same time I did. And
Mhm.
that actually was fortunate for me because on my way, I just left the hospital and they said, come back tomorrow or we'll call you for treatment.
Mhm.
We'll set this up and see, have you come back in. Well, I had no more left the parking lot that I wrecked the car, totaled my car
Right.
because I was sick with COVID. It's like, don't, and fortunately, it was a young medical person that had just come from the hospital or something. He said, "Are you all right?" He's all concerned and stuff. I'm like, it was a fender bender, I thought, but the
Mhm.
sun was in my eyes. I wasn't paying attention. I rear-ended him, but it
Yeah.
wound up totaling my car, which was great because I got rid of the car and I got actually a better deal than if I'd traded my car in, which was hitting like over 50,000 miles, and I got a truck instead. Yeah, I had to put some money with it, but I thought I'm going to get a truck this time. So it changed my life. But
Yeah.
I had no way of getting home. My mother was like 80 something, and it's like she can't come pick me up. She's at risk. But my uncle figured he had it and he lived close. So he came and got me. That was godsend. Got me
Right.
something to eat. And then we got my medicine filled, took me to the doctor and whatnot, or got my and took me home and he got tested and my aunt did the next day and sure enough they had COVID too. So yeah, it was a kind of a win-lose situation because I really think uh, that affected them and shortened their lives. My uncle all of a sudden stopped producing blood from his bone marrow. How weird
Yeah.
is that? you
That
know
was a bad time. I was actually supposed to be in Brooklyn. No, not Brooklyn. Yeah, I was supposed to be in New York that next year because we had made plans to
hmm
set up a booth at New York Comic Con or some kind of convention in 2019, and then boom, that happens. The world gets shut down. Plans change. Things you thought was going to happen aren't happening anymore.
hmm
People are dying.
Now you're
So
in Greenville, North Carolina, correct?
I am, yes.
You probably got some awesome barbecue there, huh?
We do, yeah. I don't mean to
Yeah.
brag, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, the Carolinas, they like to say, we got the best barbecue in the United States. And
That's
So
what they
does
say.
Texas. So does
Say,
Tennessee, like
Tennessee,
Memphis
Texas, say they all things
and
everything's got.
Kansas City. You know, yeah.
We got like I'm in a town where we have like Bees Barbecue, which has won all kinds of awards.
Mm-hmm.
Some dude who has like a YouTube channel with like millions of followers came here and talked about how good the barbecue was. So
Mm-hmm.
that's cool, I guess.
My thing is though, I go to the Memphis barbecue. I've done that twice, and I probably won't go back any again. Although I did get to see for the second time, I got to see Chuck Chuck Berry.
Really?
Chuck Berry in his 80s, man, he was dancing across that stage. He was
Oh
full of
man, I'm
energy. Yeah, I
seeing
saw
that.
Chuck Berry. I got to see BB King. Now
Get
that
out
was
of
in
here.
'83. I got to see him and Chuck Berry and Mr. Great Balls of Fire. I got his last song. We were late to the thing. We
Oh,
couldn't
that's so
find it.
cool.
But yeah, I got to see BB King. I got to see Chuck a couple times. But the thing of it is, you go to those barbecue things, and they might have three vendors that's selling barbecue, and
Hmm.
it's not the good stuff they're judging. It's you could go to a barbecue place and get better. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what's the use? I come here for good barbecue,
Right.
and I can't get barbecue. That's
Yeah.
crazy to me. You have a
Yeah.
barbecue festival, and you can't have any good barbecue.
And that's a
Most
shame because
people, they
like
smoke a little meat, they throw sauce on it, and they call it barbecue.
yeah, we got Sam's barbecue, we got Bees barbecue, we got the Mission barbecue, we got like so many barbecue places, you got food
Mm-hmm.
trucks, you got like they cater, and you will not be disappointed. Like
Yeah,
you pick one
you
out
won't be hungry afterwards. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Do you prefer beef or pork?
Pork, but can I tell you something? You ever had turkey barbecue?
I don't think I have, but I would try that.
Let me tell you
Absolutely.
something. Turkey barbecue, if you prepare it the right way, it tastes just like pork. You will not know the difference because
Yeah.
my aunt, she takes the turkey, takes a butterball, smokes it on the grill for about 4 hours, takes it
Hmm.
off. She melts butter with all the seasonings and whatnot. Get some fat back.
Keeps it
Render that down,
juicy. Keeps it
huh?
juicy because it could dry out real quick.
Yeah, yeah. She rinses the fat off, puts it in
Hmm.
there, mixes it up with the red pepper flakes and all that stuff like that, and it's so good. Oh my god. Oh
Hmm. You better get the recipe while she's still around. You know.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
she's young. I mean, she'll be here for a while. But yeah, like
Well, yeah, okay, all right, one accident. I'm just
oh yeah,
saying, we're not
I'm not
promised
gonna,
tomorrow. I
I'm
might
not
not
gonna
make it through the. I might not make it through the stream. What are you talking about?
right. I'm
The
gonna make
older
some.
you get, the less you take that for granted. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
just like I
But
said, Zevius, who did logos and stuff and worked for Big Corps and all kinds of stuff and did logos for a lot of comic book creators in the community. He passed away. I didn't even know he was struggling with cancer. I'm like,
really,
I'm still kind of reeling from the shock because he's been on here and we've talked art and all kinds of different things. And
right.
I was on different panels with him and behind the scenes we talked. Yeah, he was an easy guy to lived up in Canada.
Hmm.
It's kind of unusual, but great artist. He's a great artist. He did both. He did visual stuff and logo work,
You said
which
he
is
worked. You said he worked for the. You said he did work for the big two also.
I don't know if he worked for Marvel or DC or not, but in the
Oh,
independent scene, he's done you know a lot of work.
okay.
Prior, he might have. He's that good. He
Right.
worked when I say corporately. I didn't necessarily mean in comics. You know,
Hmm.
like he could do Coca Cola. Or whatever. He could do anything he put his mind to. He was that good. I mean, when
Right.
it come to lettering, I need we got a multi-million dollar campaign. He could do something like that. Come up with you know
Right.
something that would work for the company. He was that good. But he was also an artist too. He did like paintings of his cat. I saw like a, a Batmobile that he did or something. He was just very talented,
Right.
and it's you just can't take life for granted. Well,
Yeah.
she'll be around for a long time. Well, I hope she is. I hope she outlives us
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
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 I
But
mean, I had to assure my mother. My dad passed away like 10 years ago, and I said, "Look, your mother died at like 95 or 96. Your aunt died. Her sister died at 95 or 96. My mother's 89 right now and still going strong. You know,
right.
consider it.
Yeah. It's a blessing. My grandfather died in 2022, and he died at 99. He was going to be 100 in 2023. So he
Wow.
lived a long time.
He
And
did a
my
Betty White. He almost made it.
he almost made it, but you know what?
What?
That's still a blessing.
Oh
Betty
yeah,
White.
and you know what? He might have made it to 100 if you think about it,
Hmm.
because he was in the womb for like 9 months. Mhm. See,
Yeah.
we don't count that. We don't count that.
Yeah,
But was he dead? Was he dead in his month? No, he was alive. So that's part of his life. Come on.
his my great
I
grandmother
think womb time ought to count.
and my great grandmother, his mother, I think she was like 108 when she died. So
Wow. Wow.
yeah.
I talked to a man about a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago now, at the uh, uh, hair cutting place, a
Hmm.
barbershop, whatever. It's not. It's really a boutique or whatever. Uh,
Hmm.
and he was 101 years old
Really?
and had fought in war. He didn't fight in World War I. He stayed in California the whole time training our troops on sharpshooting.
Hmm.
Uh, but he stayed in California for the duration of the war, training our troops to be better marksmen, uh,
Hmm.
since he was such a good marksman. Uh, and I mean, it was interesting talking to an older person like that, having a conversation. He still called the Japanese Japs. Of course, we were talking about World War II and that subject, but a lot of Japanese might find that offensive nowadays. But it's like, hey, it was war, and that's what you called the Japanese back then. In the
Yeah.
comics and in the
Yeah.
periodicals and stuff, and it's just
And,
like you know,
and,
you're
spe-
a walking time vault here.
and speaking of war, and this reminds me of something I heard recently. Well, it was a video I saw. There was a
Mhm.
lady, and she was the final, and she died like a few years ago. She was the last Civil War widow. Her husband died. He was in the Civil War, and it works like this. She was 19 when she married him, and he was
I
97.
saw that post.
That was
Yeah,
crazy, right?
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Within our time, uh,
yeah.
there's a film of an old lady, and she was born in like 1790
Hmm.
when George Washington was still
Yeah,
alive.
yeah, he was still alive at that time, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He died like maybe
He died right before
uh,
the 1800s, I believe. I think he died like
yeah. Well,
1799,
he 1793, something like that.
something like that. Yeah.
Just a few years later. But I mean, here's a Civil War baby.
Hmm.
Not Civil War, but I mean Revolutionary War baby
Revolutionary War,
almost.
baby.
1700s anyway.
Yeah.
That way captured on film.
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
know,
That's
early
always so
film.
fascinating. That's
That's
always so fascinating.
amazing.
Like I saw a video of some people who worked under Napoleon, and they were in a video. Some like
Napoleonic Wars. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And then of course up into the 1920s, they had like a Civil War reunion with
Yeah.
Union and Confederate soldiers. So I mean, which might seem like, I don't know when you were born, but I mean, I existed since 1965. Uh, the 20th century. So I crossed over into a new century, new millennium, which is
Right.
wild. But it wasn't that far back. If you do the math, the average lifespan of a person, 80 years. If you go back 3 generations, you're almost back to 1776.
Yeah, it's not that long ago.
That's not that long ago. We're a
Revolution.
young nation.
Yeah.
We're a young nation, but we're like, 200. We're coming up on. I saw the bicentennial in
Hmm.
1976. I was a kid, you
I've
know.
heard about that. Yeah.
I was like, in 1977, I was 12. So I was about 10, 11 years old when the bicentennial was happening and Jimmy Carter was taking office. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard stories
Well,
about
now
you.
we're coming up on the 250th. That blows my mind.
Yeah,
And I may not see, or I might,
you
the
might.
275th, you know.
You might. You from what you told me, like a lot of people in your family live long, so you might see it.
Well, see, I'm adopted, so I'd
Oh,
have to
really?
kind of, yeah. But now my biological daughter, I mean, my biological daughter through Ancestry.com did a DNA test, and my real sister found out I was still alive and living in Arkansas, where she lives,
Mm-hmm.
and where my mother gave birth to me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and she did. We've even got relatives up here in town and out of town,
Mm-hmm.
just a little bit down the road. Um, which is wild. And her father actually died here where I live. We have different fathers, but she's my half sister. But she contacted me almost 2 years ago at the end of June. Will be 2 years. And we
Right.
talk on the phone. We've not met yet, but and I had a younger sister, but sadly she's passed away already. Uh,
No.
but yeah, that opened up a whole new world, as COVID killed off my adopted family, which were older anyway. They've kind of aged out, except for cousins and things like that. And they're like me, getting older as well. But they're kind of scattered to the winds, and I never see them unless it's a funeral. Um,
Right.
Trusty says, "Yeah, I remember the bicentennial too in my town next to Yorktown, Virginia. So it was a big deal here. Yeah,
I had to
yeah.
ask my folks about that, if they remember it. I got some crazy stories about my folks and the things they experienced back in the day. My my mom's boyfriend was in Brooklyn, and he was on the bridge when they were shooting that scene in Saturday Night Fever with John Travolta. You know the
Hmm.
scene where his friend jumps off of the. He was there when they were filming that, so he
Oh wow.
saw. Yeah, he saw that.
Now,
And
now, were you born in? I mean, were you raised up in North Carolina, or did you just kind of gravitate to there from somewhere
I was
else?
raised in North Carolina. I was born in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and I
Oh
moved to
wow.
Greenville. I moved to Greenville in like 2019. Um, yeah, I've been here all my life.
Yeah, and what's the population there where you're at?
Greenville is actually growing. I'm not sure what it was last census. Let me check.
Oh, Google it.
Yeah, I'm
The new
googling.
generation. You
Okay,
know,
90,000.
90,000. Okay,
90,
that's
90,
about like what we are here, about 80,000 here.
yeah, where you
Uh,
at?
I imagine you probably have a lot that grows well over 100,000 during Christmas time. People coming into town to shop,
Yeah, people are coming
kind
in
of like
town.
here.
People actually moving here from the north. We got like a lot of people coming in from the north and the west coast.
So
And
if you were to take me out to eat or see something there in town, what would be a big draw, you think?
oh gosh, let's see. I would probably take you to. You like barbecue, right?
Yeah, I like barbecue. Hell yeah,
Okay, I would take you to
I'm
either.
from Arkansas. I love barbecue.
I would take you to either Sam's or B's barbecue. The thing
Yeah,
is,
I've
though,
not heard of those
B's
unless
it's like a little shack, so you know they got some good
okay.
barbecue. And
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
like
all
not
you
really
need
a
is a
dining area.
smoker. I mean,
Yeah,
it doesn't. I mean, a barn. I'd eat good barbecue in a barn. I mean, I'd eat outside. I don't care.
yeah, and a draw. I guess if you like football, you like football.
I don't hate it. I mean,
Oh, I was about to
but
say. I
I'm
mean,
not a
I'm not
big
a fan
fan.
either. I'm not a fan either, but we got ECU football. You know, it's a college town, so
Hmm.
they have
Oh, that
games.
makes a difference. It's a college town here too, as
Oh,
well.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. What else?
During
They
World War II, down there on one of the main roads,
hmm
that was really close to the college, and that kind of blew my mind. But it was close to the rail tracks too, because they had a lot of the uh, German prisoners were in a concentration camp here in town,
hmm
and they worked on the railroad and stuff like that. So they brought them over from wherever they were captured over to America and put them here. Which it was rural then. It was probably 20,000. I mean, they were in the middle of nowhere back then, really, in the
hmm
40s. you know.
Yeah.
So it was probably a good way to isolate them, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
get them out of Germany. But there
Right.
was a actual concentration camp here in town, and then of course two of the Oriental concentration camps that FDR put for for uh, for Japanese descent Americans were here in Arkansas.
Oh, that's
Uh,
crazy.
the other ones were, I think, the other three were elsewhere. But and actually, you know, the guy that plays Sulu, Tanaka, and
Oh yeah, yeah,
he was like 5 years old in this Arkansas concentration camp.
yeah. I've heard him talk about that a lot.
Yeah, he's got a museum out in California about it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's I would like to go see it. Now he's batshit crazy when it comes to what he thinks, you know, but his
Yeah,
posts and stuff are just off the mark. But you know, I think he might even wrote a book about it. I don't know, but I'd be interested in reading that just for the historicity of it. You know, the Arkansas
yeah,
history.
yeah. I mean, North Carolina has like a lot of good history too. I mean, we
No,
like
I'm not fishing for a date, Dale. I'm just I'm just exploring the possibilities that Stellar Avenger's a cool dude. Okay.
yeah, like I like history too, and like North Carolina, we have like a huge pirate history for like pirates and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Our museums on the
Arr.
coast. Our, I
Yeah.
mean, our Greenville ECU Pirates. That's our mascot.
Mhm.
And there's actually a town called Bath that's about 30 miles away from here, and
Okay.
Blackbeard actually lived there for a while. It was a pirate fort. I mean, a pirate not stronghold, but that's where they like held up and
A
like
little haven. Yeah.
haven. Yeah,
Yeah. Kind
yeah,
of arrest from the law
yes,
till they
yeah,
went out to on another excursion, kind of a meeting point. Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, and
There
we
might
have
be some buried treasure there. You never know. Get that metal
it could
detector
be.
out.
It could be. I would love to find some pirate stuff. I
Yeah.
know they have
Find
like a
some
lot of
booty.
booty. They have like a they have a lot of stuff at the museum in Raleigh.
He's sharp. He got it immediately. He's like, booty. It's all about the
Pirate booty.
base. About
That's
the
what I
base.
was gonna say.
All about the base.
Yeah. Well, yeah, North Carolina's fun. I mean, we got lighthouses galore.
Oh,
We got
really?
we
Now,
have the
see,
right
that's on my bucket list. What's on your bucket list? Your top five things you think on your bucket list? Mine is one is to see the Grand Canyon. I'd like to see that big hole.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would like to see the Grand Canyon. I want to see Monument Valley.
Oh,
You know,
Monument Valley. Yeah. In
ever
fact, I'm
since I
writing a
saw,
story right now that takes place in Monument Valley.
and the scene where Forrest Gump where he stops running. He says, I think I like to go home now." I've always wanted to
Mhm.
visit that because I love that that area.
You
Um,
probably like John Ford Westerns. I think he did like 8 or 11 different films filmed in Monument Valley. You know?
yeah, I've seen those pictures, those posters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what else?
That'd be on my short list too. Monument Valley, definitely.
I want to know.
Yellowstone would be cool, but Yellowstone's a volatile area. It could blow up at any moment.
That's the problem. I don't want to go there.
Yeah, I don't
I
want to
don't want to
go,
go there.
like to Mount St. Helens and it erupt on my head.
Yeah, Christ.
I
Yeah.
remember in the 80s when that happened,
You must have, that
when
must have been
Mount St.
scary.
Helens exploded.
That must have been scary.
They made a movie out of it, a disaster movie out of it,
Yeah.
based on real
Um,
life. I mean, there was a guy named Harry Truman,
not the
played by
president.
Art Carney, and he would not move, and he didn't, and he got buried by the lava and the
Wasn't he
ash
the
and all
one?
that.
Wasn't he the one who recorded that footage?
I don't know if he recorded some of it or not, and
I
and
think he
then if he
did
did get
because like
buried, how they
he found his
retrieved it.
camera after the fact.
Today we would be using drones,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
capture all that.
Oh
But I
yeah.
mean, the whole side of the mountain blew off.
It looks different
That was
now
in the
than it
news
did
because there was
before.
a buildup. Is it going to erupt? Is it going to erupt? Because I mean, active volcanoes just don't happen in America every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a big
That
deal.
was big news.
I think they were feeling like seismic activity like
Oh
days
yeah,
before.
statewide. I mean, not just in that state, but up in Canada, everywhere. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that was
I
crazy.
don't. And then you had the giant ash.
Oh
That
yeah,
went probably even across Arkansas here. I think they
what do they call
reported.
it? A pyroclastic flow.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
it went all across America, you
I
know,
think it's
and
I think pop culture has gotten in people's heads that the lava is what's going to be dangerous. It's not the lava; it's the smoke because
the
it's
fumes,
hot
yeah,
gas.
and the heat,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
that's what's going to be dangerous, not the lava.
You
The
know
lava
what
don't
was
go far.
wild during the fires there in Hawaii?
Hmm.
There was I saw this post, and maybe you saw the same post. They had beehives, square beehives, rectangular wooden beehives,
Hmm.
and somehow they were buried like 50 days under ash,
Oh wow.
and they got there was still the hive was still alive. It didn't hurt
Hmm.
the bees.
Hmm.
So I'm sure the drones were in there with their wings, keeping everything cool and around the queen and the hive and everything. But they survived. I don't know how they didn't smother.
That's interesting.
I mean, that's
What kind of
over.
bees?
That's
What kind of
almost
bees were
two
they?
months. That's
What kind of
almost
bees?
2 months buried,
Yeah,
and they're
that's
still
what kind of bees.
alive. That's
And
amazing to me.
I guess animals have a way of surviving things. They have methods of survival that we don't, that we're
The
just not aware of.
cockroach will be here long after you and I are gone.
Yes. Yeah.
My first job in high school, or well, right out of high school, uh, was a uh, Mexican place, right? Mexican restaurant, and
Hmm.
I'd get a cockroach and put it in this heavy industrial, uh, find a cockroach there in the place. Hated those things, so I said I'm going to roast this thing and put it in there in for like 5 minutes in a heavy duty microwave, and all it did was singe the ends of the wings and the antenna a little bit, and that was it.
Oh my gosh.
Didn't cook it. It was still alive after 5 minutes in that big thing,
Yeah, you see a roach
being
nowadays, you get some
bombarded
raid.
by radiation.
You get some raid. You got to spray it like 10 times before it dies.
Yeah, yeah. I think, and that's kind of what I do as a living. I actually am a mosquito sprayer. I go out. I'm a spray technician at night and fog the streets. To
And I
kill the
got a
mosquito.
question.
Yeah.
Is it true that bugs will build up an immunity over time to, like, if they survive like one
Hey,
poison
nature
or
finds a way.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. That's what I've heard about, like bed bugs and stuff like that. That they go through generations so fast they build up immunities to certain chemicals.
Yeah.
So like
Well,
every now
I,
and
I
then,
mean,
like,
I think it's a mistake to go with chemicals anyway. There is a natural repellent out there.
lavender.
Lavender, I was going to mention. Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah,
plant some lavender. I think that will repel fleas, ticks, and mosquitoes.
yeah,
Um, Lemongrass. There's
yeah. I've heard
certain
about that too.
citrus. They
Hmm.
don't. Um, for mice, I would put. I've often thought, if I could get now it's stinky, but it's outside. You could put it
Right.
around the base of your house or entryways to your house, especially if you have a crawl space under the house, because it
Hmm.
doesn't take much for a mouse
Yeah.
to get in.
They might smell
Uh,
so bad. They
but
smell so bad.
take ferret urine,
Hmm.
something that is a natural predator, and they won't come around. It makes
Yeah,
sense, right?
it does.
And
Yeah.
it's not harmful to the environment.
Right.
I'm kind
Yeah.
of anti-chemical, even though I've sprayed enough chemical to kill.
Oh, and it's humane. It's also humane. Like
Yeah,
there's nothing worse than seeing like a little mouse like in a trap and it can't move. It's like I feel sorry for this little guy. Like he just came here because it was cold and he wants to be warm, and I just like killed
I don't screw
him.
them. They have no place in my house. I hate mice. I'm the
Yeah,
I'm the little kid up on the chair going no, and
yeah.
I
'Cause,
got
like,
a I got a in 1 week I got a I didn't know it, but they were coming in from under the house. Now how they got under the house, I don't know. Don't care. But I had like a screw, had to get a screwdriver every time I changed the filter. And I thought, I'm just going to leave the screws out of this and leave the grate, just kind of open, you know,
mhm.
so I don't have to do this every month, because I wish it had latches on it where I could just do the latches and open it up. But this one, you got the screw, so I've got to fix that this year.
Yeah.
But I was leaving it open. A little baby possum got in the house,
Oh
I
God.
came in, I came in here, and on the kitchen, by my stove, up on the not really table, but you know what I'm saying, counter. Well, he was eating a loaf of bread.
Oh
What are you
no.
crazy? And so I finally got him in the room, and we caught him. We got him.
Okay.
Okay, in between I and my dog, which is a Jack Russell, we kind of caught him and put him in a little trash can, and he was a little dude. I mean, he was about that big, but he's small.
Mhm.
And I let him out back, far
Yeah.
away from the house. Um, I thought another possum had gotten in because a few days later, I see this. I'm sitting there and Abby's asleep I'm in the recliner, right?
Hmm.
And in comes this face. And I'm like, is that another possum? It was big enough. I thought it was a possum. It wasn't. It was a giant rat
Oh God.
in my house.
Wait, it was big enough for you to mistake it for a possum.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I knew I had to get it. I heard it moving in the room that I needed to get it out of, that had a doorway to the outside.
Mhm.
So finally got it in there, put up a grating. I think it could have climbed and went over, but fortunately it didn't. It got up on there, but then it hopped down.
Mhm.
And in between I and Abby, I finally opened the door and got it to that side, and it went out. And that's when I knew it was a rat because of the way it ran and stuff in the tail. And then
Right.
it kind of went around the corner, hid in the monkey grass, which was high. And Abby come around there and flushed it out, and it took off. And but yeah,
That that's crazy.
I was like, yeah, I need to close that vent. That's because obviously I don't know how they got under the house to begin with, but
Hmm.
I'm sure not having that happen again where they just come up because I can look down and it's down below my house. If I wanted to slide through there, I probably could slide between the studs and actually go under the house myself from there. It's crazy
Right.
that there's nothing there, a grate or something, but that's the way it's made. So,
Right.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I don't like rats. I mean,
I don't
okay.
like rats. Hell no.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I've
If
seen them
someone
as
had a
big
mouse
as a
or a rat,
possum.
if someone had a mouse or a rat as a pet, I don't mind that. But I just see it, then yeah, it's no, it's no for me. I just kind of feel sorry for when I see them in traps. But other than that, like I don't care for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if it's quick, but if they're still alive, like, oh, I've been cut in half and my back is broke, I couldn't care less. Suffer. Throw you in the garbage.
Oh
Sorry.
no.
I know it's only natural, but,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, you know, don't want rodents in my house. Of any kind.
Right.
I don't. Not even pets. Well, I take that back. I had prairie dogs at one time, and
Oh
those are
really?
rodents. But I mean, they're highly sociable animals. They're actually pretty interesting.
Hmm. Yeah.
But
You
they're
probably
still
need more than
rodents.
one. You probably need more than one if you have one.
And I imagine Indians used to eat them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably pretty good eating, like rabbit, because
Yeah.
it's clean. All they eat is grass and bugs, occasional bug.
I've never had rabbit. Um, like to be honest, I've
Uh,
never had anything outside of
I've
like
had
chicken.
squirrel. My uncle fixed barbecue squirrel once. It
My
wasn't
uncle used to
bad.
my uncle used to eat squirrel too. I think
Really?
yeah, I
Yeah.
think they used to eat. Yeah, my folks were sharecroppers, so they lived like out in the country. Um,
Hmm.
they used to tell stories of eating possum. They used to eat raccoon. They used to eat deer, rabbit,
Yeah.
whatever they get their hands on.
Anything you could get your hands on, keep from starving. Absolutely.
Yeah,
The world is your grocery store.
it is. You just gotta know where to shop.
Yeah, and afford the ammo or the traps, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm afraid we've gotten away from that agricultural, picking cotton or soybeans or rice. Of course, a lot of rice here in Arkansas. A lot of rice farmers, so a lot of
And
mosquitoes.
with North Carolina,
Uh,
there's a lot of
hey, Carrie,
tobacco. Where I'm at, there's a lot of tobacco, a lot of peanuts,
tobacco? Yeah,
peanuts. What else? Sweet potatoes,
yeah.
um, corn. You know,
Got to keep that ethanol flowing. Although how that's a good idea, it's not. Because that you don't want moisture in your engine.
yeah.
I wish they would do something about the ethanol. I mean, we've got more oil underneath us than Saudi Arabia.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I mean, if I was the president, I would say we're going to drill, baby, drill, and that's what he's effectively said. But I would make a pact with the American people. I said for the next foreseeable future, the next 200 to 300 years, we've got resources. Let's use them. Let's bring the price down for the American people, and in the meantime, let's find alternatives. But they've been
Right,
talking alternatives for over 40 years. I remember uh, the 1982 World's Fair, they were talking solar back then, and they've not done anything with it since, hardly. And
right.
windmills and all that. It's ineffective. Let's use quote fossil fuels, which is not fossil fuels, but let's use gas. I mean, we can't do without oil. Everything you see here was created by oil.
Yeah,
It just was. If you can find a cleaner way, great. But till then, we're going to drive the price down and we're going to use this. And we will fund some viable options. Find me alternatives and we'll go to that. That's what if I was president, that's what I'd say. Find me an alternative and we'll go to that. But till then, I'm not listening to this Obama will run stuff on algae. It doesn't work. It hasn't. Solyndra, it didn't work. We put all that money in there. It didn't work.
yeah,
I don't think it was designed to work
yeah.
myself personally. But
I mean,
you
I
know,
do wish there was like some kind of like form of
I
renewal.
get it. With people want to get off gas, but there's a responsible way to get off the oil and petroleum and all that. Uh, if we do things differently and smarter.
Yeah,
But greed gets in the way. I mean, let's face it,
yeah,
that happens in everything.
yeah. Like greed is like ruining us all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, greed's only a part of the human condition, but it's a
Yeah,
big part.
it's a big part. It's a part you can't really ignore,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's a part that people don't notice until it's too late.
Do you have any good museums there where you're at?
In Raleigh, there is the Natural History Museum, and there is
Hmm.
and they have a museum next to the Natural History Museum that has exhibits like they have like they have pirate stuff, they have astronaut stuff.
Ah, okay.
And I went there last year. When I went there last year, they were under renovation, and I couldn't go in there and see all those swords and stuff they had in there.
I'm not a pirate, but if I visited there, I'd probably just wear an eye patch for the heck of it.
You know, go ahead. I'm pretty sure you'll fit right in.
Yeah, they might put me on display.
Right.
You know,
And too
I
bad. I was gonna say too bad no ship survived because it would have been really good exhibits to see a pirate ship.
you seen Planet of the Apes, the original Planet of the Apes?
With Charlton Heston.
Yeah, the one
Uh,
astronaut that's shot in the back of the head. They put him on display with all those
oh,
blank eyes.
I've not.
You
Um,
haven't? Oh,
I've seen some
I
clips.
prefer the
I've seen
old ones
clips.
over the new ones
I've
myself.
seen clips, but I haven't seen the whole thing.
Okay. Well, early on, one of the astronauts he gets shot in the back of the head, right? And the
Mhm.
other one gets wounded, and they lobotomize him. He's like, got a big scar here where they
Right.
shaved his head and did brain surgery to save his life,
Hmm.
to take the bullet out or whatever, relieve the pressure, and it left him a vegetable. The other guy, he's shot in the back of the head, grabs his head, and falls down. Next thing you know, when Charlton Heston gets out and about, they got him stuffed with blank white eyes in the museum
Mm-hmm.
of like ape history or whatever. You know,
Yeah,
there's
that sounds disturbing.
yeah, it is kind of that, but we do that to animals, right? And in that world, humans were looked at like animals,
Mm-hmm.
so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, those
That
movies are crazy.
it is a dystopian. One of the greatest endings of twist endings of a movie of all time.
Yeah,
Where the ending of it, right? No spoilers.
when he shows up on the shore and he sees the Statue of Liberty is an ape.
Damaged, buried Statue of Liberty. Yeah,
Well, it's not an ape. Yeah, it's just damaged. It's in the future or whatever.
yeah,
I think. Yeah.
yeah. Buried, and then I think it's got like one of the prongs bent or something. It's old, decaying.
Mhm.
But yeah, he's been on Earth the whole time, just in the future.
Yeah.
You blew it up. You damn. You blew it up.
I don't know what happened. What they were trying to do with the remake. I'm not talking about the current franchise. I mean the one with Mark Wahlberg. He came
Oh
back
yeah. Hmm.
and he went to
I didn't
white.
think that was that bad.
Yeah,
I
but
thought it
I
was
don't know. The
okay.
ending on that one was kind of ambiguous because what are they saying? Did he go back in time and is it also reality where apes are the
Yeah.
prominent species?
Yeah. Did it fracture off? What happened? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what kind of feel like I was going for because like he goes there and like he's in modern times. Everyone's an ape.
Mhm.
Abraham Lincoln was an ape. You know.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Now that's kind of stunning. That's from the original series, I think,
Oh really?
where they actually show the ape. And yeah, that's taken from the original series. Yeah,
Okay.
because there's a scene in one of the sequels. There were five. There were five original movies. There was a TV series and there was an animated show. Did
Oh,
you
I
know?
don't remember that cartoon. I don't remember that.
Mid 70s, bicentennial years, like 1975, 76, they had, uh, Planet of the Apes, animated show. But they also had it on TV.
Really? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I never. Yeah, I don't remember that. That was way before my time.
You're right. Yeah, but I think maybe you can probably find that, and watch that. Maybe even on YouTube. I'm not sure, but uh, I'm looking it up right now. What happened to the Planet of the Apes cartoon? Yeah, let's see. Uh, well, let me see. I was going to play the trailer. Let me put trailer in here, and maybe it'll come up. It never cooperates for me. Why doesn't it ever cooperate for me? Maybe there isn't a trailer. I find that hard to believe. I think I played it before on here. Return to the Planet of the Apes, intro and outro. There we go. There we go. And it's only a minute and 34 seconds. All right. Share screen. There we go. Hey, Flip. Flip, we got to get you on here. We got to get you signed up this week to come on or something.
Return to the Planet of the Apes.
1975. That was the intro. Here's the outro.
I didn't even know this was a thing. That's pretty
Well,
cool.
we seek to educate people around here.
I appreciate
Yeah, even if it's useless trivia. That's about all I have in my head.
it. Right.
I just thought the prosthetics of the original, thanks for the invite. I'd love to. Okay, I flip. I don't. I think we're following each other on X. Not sure if you'd send me a DM. I'd love to have you on and talk to you about your magazine and stuff. Uh, sometime this week or next week. I had to mute myself a second there. My dog was hacking. She's been doing that of late. I think it might be asthma.
Oh.
I have to have her checked out for that. So, anything interesting going on in your world? Like, are you going to go to any conventions? And do you do many conventions?
I've only been to one convention. Like right
Okay,
now, I
up
don't.
in
I kind of live in
uh,
the middle of nowhere.
okay,
Um, but Greenville has a Comic Con that comes around every August.
okay.
Um, I was there and I met Indy Smith. Uh, but not really. I mean, I definitely should look into like getting a booth set up next time they
Yeah,
come down.
Andy's been on here a couple times. We love to talk to Andy here. He's got a lot of history. You
Yeah,
know, a lot of good stories, a
right.
lot of great art.
Yeah,
He actually did character designs for all the NFL teams for their
really.
mascots, and they look dope.
That's
Like the
cool.
Dolphins character or like the Eagles character. I mean, he did a couple videos a couple years ago on that, and I loved its design because usually he hyperinflates like Bart Sears all the time, the muscles and stuff. Not so on this work, you know,
Hmm.
just those anthropomorphic bears and animals. Is just pretty cool. For he did that for all the NFL teams.
Someone cares asked me if I was a comic creator. Not necessarily, but I do character designs.
Character
And I
designs, digital work. Yeah,
yeah, I
we
do dabble
showed
in comics every now and then.
we showed some of his work earlier. Carrie, you had to get in here earlier than this. She's sleeping on medication or something. Wakes up and go, "Oh, Rex is still on." It might be interesting. Uh, we were wondering where you were. No, actually, I was pretty engaged with Stellar Avenger here. So, what is your favorite character? DC, Marvel, or Indie, or what? What's your favorite character?
Oh man, Christ, that's a hard one. Hold on. Mm, oh, I don't know. Let's see.
Questions
I
don't
like
get
I
any
like the Winter
easier from
Soldier.
here.
He's cool.
What is it?
The Winter Soldier. He's
Winter
cool.
Soldier. He's cool. Yeah.
Um,
He's kind of a new creation.
yeah. I mean, he's an old character, but the Winter Soldier for
Well,
some.
Bucky is. Yeah,
Yeah,
Bucky.
Bucky's old. Yeah, but like his.
I'd call that a reimagination.
Yeah,
He's really an older Bucky. Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, now
Um,
being on antibiotics really knocks me out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she's got knee problems. We got to pray for her knees. Um, how about your favorite team? Your favorite
well,
group?
I like the Avengers. I like the X-Men. Um,
Thunderbolts?
it depends on the lineup. I really never really been gravitated towards one particular Thunderbolts
Mm-hmm.
lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see. I like the Justice League. I like the current Justice League Unlimited run. That's fun because I like
You.
seeing like all these characters from across the DC universe coming into this one book.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's fun.
You do
Um,
heroes and villains and mostly superheroes in your digital work characters, but what are some of the other stuff that you've worked on digitally?
uh, shoot, let's see. Huh. I sometimes do work for a family. Like sometimes it'll say, can you draw my niece? And I'll like, I'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Uh but um not really. I try to stay in my lane as much as I can.
Sure. Work to your strengths of what you like to do,
I work to my strengths, and if I have to do anything outside of that, then I'll just say I'm not comfortable doing that right now because I want to give you everything I'm
You
capable of at the moment.
you said you previously had done a comic. What was the title? And
Oh,
what
it
kind
was
of
called
comic?
It was called Stellar.
Stellar. Okay.
Yeah,
And was it like a one character type thing? A
it was
hero?
a solo book. Yeah, it was just one guy. And I did it with the help of my friends. Um, and
Did you have a
when
company name that was published under?
it was on the Waypoint. It was our only book.
Oh, Waypoint Comics. Okay. Okay.
It was our only book.
Well, I had to look out for that. How many did you get printed up of it?
If I'm being honest, I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to ask my friend Justin about that because he was the one who who handled all of that stuff.
Okay.
But I could probably send you some art from it. I'm pretty sure he won't mind.
Yeah. But I
Um,
like that's my jam. I like the independent, obscure, rare. I just do because see, I know nothing about Stellar, but I
yeah,
know everything. Well, not everything, but I mean, I get the gist of what Batman's about, Spider Man, Green
yeah,
Lantern. I mean, those are known properties. I like the lesser known. To me, it's more inspirational in
right,
my own work, you know,
right.
because you're coming in with a fresh eye.
And can I
I
send
mean,
you a picture?
even if it's derivative.
And can I send you a picture of him?
Sure.
One of the things I did,
That's why
I
you're
kind
here.
of, and one of the things I'm kind of realizing now is
I'm
that
interviewing you. We want to find out about you. We
right.
want to commission you. Take
And
our
one thing
money.
and one of the things I'm kind of realizing now is that his design might have been his design kind of might have strayed a bit too close to Invincible, and I've been wanting to go back and like retool him
Oh,
and
you said
yeah.
that's
But yeah, I
funny.
just sent you an inbox. You can post it in the on the screen if you want.
Oh, did you send it over to X?
I did, yes. It won't
Damn
let
it.
me post images from private chat here for some reason.
Oh, it won't. Okay. Well, all right.
Yeah,
Oh, this reminds me of just the blue, probably. Reminds
it's
me
the
of and just the look of the character of Dick Grayson, as
yeah,
Nightwing.
yeah. People have told me that too.
A little bit. There you go. Stellar. And what is Stellar's powers?
He's a Templorian from the planet Templor, and he can shoot. He can absorb and redirect energy. Start like Star Force energy. He can
Okay.
fly. He has some strength. All the
So
usual
could he
stuff.
like increase gravity and crush you?
He can't, but there are members of his race who do have that ability.
Uh, yeah. Flip City, I need you to contact me some way. Get me a link so we can get you on here. Um, yeah, he's a you seem to have a good design sensibility, you know, with your characters. Not just that, but like your sort of redesign on public domain characters. Um,
Yeah.
I really think retro is going to be hot in the next decade
Hmm.
because we've got a lot more properties becoming uh, public domain.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like
If people can just stop making horror movies based on them, then yeah, it would be good.
Yeah, like Winnie the Pooh, or yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, or
the Mickey Mouse one.
Steamboat Willie
Yeah,
kills your mother. Yeah,
yeah, that's stupid.
yeah. Whatever. Yeah. Um, but I mean, it's public domain. You can do whatever you want with it, and this is just the scratching the surface. What's your X handle, Devil Flyer Momentum? I definitely hit you up. I can leave it for you right there in the chat. Let me just go over here real quick, and sorry to take away your time, Cody, with this.
Oh, that's fine. Go ahead.
Only take a second. If I hadn't have tried to find the Planet of the Apes, it wouldn't even take that much time. All right, here we go. If you hadn't hit that like button, hit that like button. If you hadn't subbed to the channel, please sub to the channel. Trying to get monetized. We're up to 472 subscribers. Right there's my X. Right there, folks. Right now, I have 1,452 followers. Woo! I wish I had that many over on YouTube. Make better content, Rex. Uh, yeah, the reason I ask you about the Dollar Tree is this is the DC stand. The
Right.
Dollar Tree is releasing this stuff out. You know, DC's releasing stuff through Dollar Tree. It's the old 52 and Rebirth
Earth,
stuff.
yeah.
Uh, but it's cool that these are coming out in the wild now.
That new 52 Batman run was really good with Capullo. That was a good run. I think was it like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that and the Flash and Green Lantern was some of my favorite runs. And I did like the Wonder Woman one at first too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else? Uh, Rebirth, not so much. Oh, Aquaman. Aquaman was really good. The new 52 Aquaman. That was a really good book.
Yeah, and they tended to have Flip. Thanks for following me. I was following you already. Thanks for reciprocating. They had like two Green Arrows. They had, I think, three Green Lanterns. They had two uh, with Harley Quinn. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, Suicide Squad. They had a couple of Nightwing. Well, they had three Nightwings, I think. But they had a couple Flashes, a couple Aquaman. Uh, that one up there is an Ethan Van Sciver cover, which is pretty neat. Um, and I think this Nightwing here with the black and red costume, I think that's a reprint of the first time he wore that costume.
Right.
Because I got an original of that. I got like the first three issues of that run. It really wasn't that bad a read.
Mhm.
I kind of became a Nightwing fan because of Scott McDaniel. I liked his artwork on it. And
Mhm.
I was like you, I'd go to Barnes and Noble and they'd have all these big trade paperback volumes of stuff. And I was like, this stuff's great, and I kind of bought the run, his 2 year run or whatever it was on not Nightwing. Um,
Right.
do you collect anything besides comics? Are you a
Uh,
collector? Are you a big collector? Are you
I have a.
gamer?
I don't know if you know. I'm not. I don't know if you're like familiar with Digimon. It was like a.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a. It was like a how do I put this? A monster collecting Japanese franchise. Not unlike Pokemon, but it's different.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
have like a huge tin full of like Digimon cards. Like it's just
Okay.
seems like.
Yeah.
Um, what else? I do game. I play Marvel Rivals. Been
Well, I
playing that.
had heard you say something about gaming, playing a certain game. So that's why
Yeah,
I asked that. Yeah.
I play Marvel
I mean,
Rivals. I
I
play.
don't think there's anybody above the age of maybe, I mean, below the age of 30 that hasn't been a gamer at some point. You
Right.
know, uh,
Yeah.
I'm like first generation gaming. Really.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you came around the age of like Atari and whatnot, right? Like you remember that? I'm pretty sure.
Gaming started about 50 years ago, about bicentennial year when Atari first came out with the game systems, and stuff, which was
Yeah,
real crude, follow the dot, bloop,
yeah.
bloop,
Ping pong.
bloop.
What
Yeah,
was it called? Pong,
yeah,
pong. Yeah,
yeah, or tennis or bowling. Bowling was like a lane, and
yeah.
I don't know, it was weird,
So simple.
real simple, yeah, yeah, but entertaining. We loved it, at the time.
Mhm.
The graphics have always sucked, and I guess now they don't, but now they're
Yeah,
really immersive, But
mercilessly they get you're going to give into like a movie nowadays.
yeah, you can live half your life vicariously just playing games, and I'm like, yeah, I got comics to create, I got new characters to think up.
Right.
Um, I'll show you some of the stuff I've been working on recently.
Okay.
Why? Because I can.
That's true.
And I, unlike I'm not a digital artist, so I do it traditionally. Been working in doing these head sketches. Everybody gets a free head sketch when they back my book over on Fund My Comic.
Oh, that's good.
Among others, this is Dreamweaver. He's a new character. This is Zigzag. He's kind of like the my speedster that
Okay.
is a um, sort of the mascot of Momentum Comics. I've
Right.
been doing these light reactive type ones. I thought it would be pretty
Oh,
cool to do uh, the markers that might react to black light and see if that like a black light poster.
that's
So I did.
trippy. I like that.
I, I did a few of those. Bog. I just celebrated 10 years of uh, drawing Bog.
Is he like
Um,
this one thing?
is he like what? One
He
thing?
like this one thing, man thing type character?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He's kind of like my. And then I have a lady Bog, which is new.
Oh,
I've had the concept, but I didn't draw her till January 18th. So I created
okay, so
her this
cool.
year.
I
Yeah.
like that.
And here's, I don't do women very well and I don't do them very
I like
often.
that. Who is she? I like her.
This is Jenna. I don't have a name for her. She's got bullets there that's been fired. She's
Oh,
kind
she
of got super strength and, um, sort of invulnerable to a certain extent. I was actually working on her story that's going to be in my next book.
hmm
Um, and then here's a villain.
Oh,
That's
what's his name?
kind of getting shadows. See my finger? uh, well, now you're the second person that said him. That's actually a her. Maybe I must have
Oh,
put the
oh,
parenthesis in there
okay,
for her.
yeah, I see. I see.
Yeah, I don't have a name for her. She's part of the 43. The 43 were in part of an experiment. I needed more villains. I needed more women, and they were in a Nazi experiment, and it appeared to like disintegrate all of them, but it didn't. Hey,
Mhm.
Glenn Fleming in the house. Uh, Here's another villainous. He's a Yakuza assassin.
Oh,
Sweet baby. I don't do very many women. I don't do them good, but now I celebrated 10 years of Bog where I was drawing just Bog all the time. And
hmm
he appears to be differently because I like to try different iterations of him.
I guess it makes
Uh,
sense for him from like like a literary standpoint, where like he's a
shape
character with like a bog swamp thing. He's could probably change his appearance or whatever.
shape change, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he made up a different matter and different things, so he can kind of change. Here he is in a transporter being
Oh,
transported,
that's a good
something
effect. I
different.
like that.
Yeah. And then this one here. But the 43 was basically
Oh,
my excuse um to tell to create villains like this um that
oh,
that have all the same origin.
who's this guy?
I don't have a name for him yet. I just created him a few days ago, back on
Okay,
the third. This is Zeitgeist. He's one of the 43. This is one of those light reactive ones I did.
okay, that's
And
cool.
I don't have a name for this. He's kind of a stone guy. Um,
Ooh,
that's the way he looked normally. And then I did the light reactive, you know,
hmm
version.
right.
Uh, That's Geo there. He's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a stone character. He was Jack Kirby, this zigzag line that runs through his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's Jack Kirby inspired. This is
Right.
one of the 43 here. I don't have a name for him, but he kind of puts this goop on you, encases you in like a cocoon type thing, and you go on a psychedelic trip.
Oh, I got an idea for his name. How about ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca. Okay, can you? Now they are German characters because
Oh,
they,
okay, but okay, then no, I don't
uh,
know.
there's a new one.
Okay, what's his powers?
I don't know yet, but he's got a cool look. you know,
Mm.
this is modern day Mummy. That's sort of a reimagining of that character.
Oh, I like that one.
Uh, this one's a new one. That's a
Oh,
new villain. I gave him a staff that fires stuff. We need more women. Yeah, I'm creating them. I'm actually working on a new one now.
oh, I
I
love
didn't
it.
make him one of the 43 because I got to have some villains that aren't part of the 43. But he kind of controls fire and has a fire suit. He's a firebug.
Right, I like that one.
Yeah. I like creating new characters. I've got old characters that go back to the 70s. When dinosaurs ruled the earth. Here's one of the lesser successful ones that uh, I did that tried to do light reactive, but interesting nonetheless.
Ooh, volcano.
Yeah, sort of volcano head there. But yeah, I enjoy doing those things for
Yeah,
sure.
and then like
Uh,
create just like creating new characters and whatnot, and seeing where it take you.
yeah, I'm glad that I found crowdfunding because that's all I was doing was sitting around for decades, world building. Creating these characters, and I did do some home comics, but I never got anything published. And now I've got the Devil Flyer Ash Can that's on the Indiegogo already done, and we're working on Devil Flyer. Hopefully, release that in July. For Feel That campaign
Mhm.
up on Fund My Comic right now. So, in fact, why don't I just play the trailer for everybody? I didn't do it at the opener, so give me a
Okay.
chilling moment. 63 backers, $3,652, 83% funded. Let's check out the trailer real quick. Back it today. Only on Fund My Comic.
That was nice.
Yeah, yeah. I have fun with it. Uh, I collect Pez too.
I always love pest dispensers.
Pez dispensers. They're a big
Yeah.
collectible. I have thousands of them. Some of them very old. Goes back to the 50s. Or some
Oh,
oldest.
really? So
Yeah.
you're a collector.
I'm a collector, yeah, and I also sold them on eBay for a long time. I actually made custom pairs. Here's one that I didn't make, but I actually bought
Hmm.
a Grinch. Somebody custom made that, sculpted that head, and they finally released the Grinch a year or so ago, along with the little Who girl and his dog. But this
Hmm.
one here looks better than the one they sculpted. And I'm hoping on my next campaign that Devil Flyer will actually be made into a Pez dispenser. I've
Right.
been thinking about that a lot today. I really would like to see that happen. because I could sell a ton of those things on eBay.
So you're gonna commission someone to do it for you? Like,
eBay was created. Half of eBay was created. I mean, because of pest collectors wanted a site, a place where they could trade and find their pets. Because I mean, let's face it, pets were really made to be disposable and thrown away. The original one that they came out with in 1947, although the company goes about all the way back to 1927. There's only one known example of that. It looks like a 2-inch butane lighter,
mhm.
basically. Uh, and the originals had like box regulars where they kind of looked like a smaller version Bic lighter, and it was kind of touted as an after dinner or after smoker's mint that you could carry in your pocket. You load it up with candy and then eventually throw the dispenser away. And the original one, there was only one found, and it was found in the trash. So that thing's priceless.
Oh
Um,
wow.
I actually found a fishing lure like that in a fishing box that was on a burn pile. That was on a trash heap. And there was only 25 of those made. It was one of the first plastic lures ever made for the first um, bass tournament in 1954. So it's like, wow, that thing's rare. I hit the holy jackpot with that one. So you never know.
Right.
Maybe Hades got it right. Check your garbage. There's
Yeah.
treasures
So one what
thrown
like what they
away
say?
every day.
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Ah, you said it, man. I started out collecting rocks and arrowheads.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
always been a collector, but mostly comics. And then that kind of grew into like original artwork or production artwork or other comic related things.
It always does good to save everything you have, like or dumpster dive. Sometimes like
Hmm.
what they say, like sometimes you go to like a nice neighborhood or like a wealthy neighborhood, and then you go out there on trash day when they take the trash out. They could be
Hmm.
throwing something that's really valuable. You never know.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on here. If there's anything I've been remiss in saying about your artwork, I'm sorry.
What's fine.
Uh, we got Stellar Avenger here for the very first time. I hope this won't be the last time you come on. Um, um, you're invited back anytime you want to come back on um, and talk about your work and what's currently. And I do hope that you do some comic book work. Something. But
Yeah.
his commissions are open if you want to hire him. His rates are up on his X uh, channel. Are there any other sites? You do have a YouTube channel, and we shared that earlier.
I have an
Um,
Instagram.
you have Instagram, okay, and you
Yeah,
post some
I'm
of your
also
new work on there occasionally.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's probably where I post my most art is on Instagram, so I'll go ahead and link that too.
yeah. Carrie, she does crocheting, embroidering, fabric painting, jewelry making. I didn't know that. Uh, yeah, I mean, crafts and art come in all different forms and shapes. So find what works for you. For you it's digital, and my for me it's traditional, but I can see where traditional or digital can really be a time saver, and a
It
money
is a time saver. It's cleaner. It's cleaner for one
uh
thing. You don't have to do much. If you mess up, all you have to do is like Control X, and then it'll like go back to where you messed up at.
well,
Or
I think for me the big thing, the big advantage to because when it comes to sequential artwork or you know illustrators, happy birthday Kurt Swan, by the way. There's a um, heavenly birthday for Kurt Swan. A great, he was Superman artist when I was growing up. He drew Superman for over 30 years. You don't see that anymore. Just like
yeah,
you don't see couples married for 50 or 60 years anymore.
yeah.
where's the stability anymore?
I
And the
guess the
continuity in comics.
some of the longest running artists I've seen in comic books right now, regardless of what you may feel about his art.
Mhm.
Um, God, what's his name? The dude who draws. He drew
Savage
Spider Man.
Dragon.
No, he drew Spider Man. Oh my God, what's his name? John Romita. Yes,
Oh,
it's John
John
Romita.
Romita. Oh, John Romita Jr.
He's been
Yeah,
his art's kind of
yeah. He's really a throwback thanks to his
yeah
father. I mean, he's one
yeah
of the last men standing, really. That's you know been doing it for decades and still doing the mainstream stuff. Uh,
yeah.
and again, his father, I think he had a hand in creating the Punisher and Wolverine, maybe a little bit or
Hmm.
something. I mean, but he didn't create a bunch of different characters like Kirby.
Yeah.
Um, I'm one of those. I create characters. If I don't create a new character a day, which often don't, but especially when that's not my focus in my thinking, uh, then I don't feel like I've done my job because I feel like I need to be creating new, interesting characters every day. You know.
Yeah. And I will say this:
Hmm.
um, Stan Lee's been there for about 7 years this year, and
Yeah.
and and while we have a lot to thank him for, I'm kind of glad that people are starting to take notice in the fact that he did not create all those characters on his own, and I
Yeah,
kind of
I
feel
mean, he kind of thought, well, the way he
yeah
looked at it was the writer come up with the ideal,
yes,
but I mean, it's 50-50,
it was the Marvel method.
or maybe 60-40.
It was
The
the Marvel
artist,
method. The Marvel method because they would have like the artists have a lot of input into how the story went.
right?
You know.
Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man wouldn't have. I mean, he went to Kirby for Spider-Man at first, and then
Hmm.
that wasn't what he was looking for, and he went to Ditko, and Ditko gave him what he wanted, or what he
Yeah.
thought he wanted as a to write Spider-Man with, and I mean, there's nothing wrong in saying I'm co-creator, you know.
Right. Right.
But now the way he looked at it is, well, I think the writer, and I'm not to invalidate his thinking on that, but I think it's 60-40 at least,
Yeah. Yeah.
on the
Definitely.
artist side because the artists give the visuals, and
Yes.
it's you got to have a good design sensibility about you. To
Hmm.
me, the way I work is I generally work. I do the head, and if I get the head down, I can do the costume,
Right.
and I can figure out the powers and the name if I don't have that already. That's
Right.
just the way I work. If I can give you an interesting looking face, then I can come up with a interesting looking character with interesting powers and costume and stuff. Uh,
Right.
Very rarely do I work like Silver Boa now. I heard that they discovered a new silver boa constrictor on Conception Island back in 2017, the year I created Devil Flyer, I think it was. And that's in the Bermuda Islands, apparently. And they discovered a new species. I heard it on the radio of silver boa constrictor. And I said,
Hmm.
ooh, silver boa. I got to create a character, and I did just because the name was there, in my head. It's like, ooh, I got to create a character called Silver Boa. But
That sounds
rarely
really
does it work that way. Usually I put the visuals and then I'll give it a name and powers and a costume and stuff.
right.
But if I make the face interesting, the rest is doable. You know, what does the face suggest to me
Right.
is where I kind of extrapolated. I don't know how you work your working method digitally, but
I do tend to start from the face also.
okay, all
Like
right,
yeah, because if I can't start from the suit onward. Like sometimes I will outline a body and then I'll like sometimes go over it and see where the design will take me. But when I'm drawing the character and I know what the character looks like already, I'm gonna start from the head and work my way down.
mm, yeah. To me, it only makes sense if we were to look at, in person, where does a person look to? Your eyes. They look
Yes.
you in the eye. You know, they look you in the face. So
Hmm.
that's the first thing you see about a person, and that you look for. You don't look at their elbow, even
Yeah.
though their elbow may be the most interesting looking elbow you've ever seen. You don't look at
Right.
somebody's elbow. Now there are shy people or whatever, they look down at your feet, you know,
Yeah.
but that's an oddity. Anyway, we're gonna get out of here. Keep collecting. Uh, thank you, Stellar Avenger, for coming on. Love that name.
Thank
Avengers
you.
Assemble.
Avengers
I
Assemble.
gotta say it. Huh?
Avengers Assemble.
That's right. Wonder Twin powers activate.
Activate.
Form
Form
of
of.
a bucket of water.
Shape of rabbit.
Pterodactyl.
Pterodactyl.
Yeah. A polar bear. Yeah.
Bear.
Whatever. Yeah. She was very limited on what and so was he. An
Yeah.
icicle. It was, I get it.
Yeah.
How about, she become a giant silverback gorilla and he
Mhm.
becomes a frozen axe.
That would have been cool.
I know,
They
but
they weren't thinking big enough.
violence in cartoons can't have that. So
Right.
anyway, Flip, I'll be in contact with you right after the show. We got to get you on here and talk about your magazine and what you're doing. Stellar, again, thanks for coming on. Hope you get some
No,
business and some subs out of this at least.
mm-hmm.
Come back and talk to us sometime about comics.
All right, we'll do.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
No, my pleasure. Thank you.
Mhm.
Tomorrow we will have on. Uh, who will we have on tomorrow? I will tell you in a second. There we go. We're going to have on John Dexter, Alpha Dogs, and other properties. He's doing like 3 different comics, but currently working on Alpha Dogs 5, which is a Kickstarter. So join us tomorrow as we do another interview and maybe find out some juicy tidbits. Anyway, out for now. Keep collecting
Mhm.
and reading good comics. You can say bye.
Oh, bye.
I'm going to hit the button.
All right, see
Give me
y'all.
a countdown.